Good morning, everyone. Amuse anybody be seated. We accept an absorbing case afore us today. Let me acquaint you in all my years on this bank, and I've been accomplishing this for a actual continued time. I've apparent aloof about aggregate you can imagine, but every already in a while a case comes through these doors. That reminds me why I still appear to assignment every distinct day. Now, before we begin, I appetite to accomplish article actual clear. This attorney's is a abode of respect. It's a abode breath we seek justice. Yes, but we do it with dignity, we do it with compassion, and we do it with fairness. I don't affliction if you're rich. I don't affliction if you're poor. I don't affliction what your aftermost name is or who your ancestor is. In this courtroom, anybody is according beneath the law. That's how it works. That's how it should work. And that's how it will consistently. Assignment has continued as I'm sitting in this chair. So let's allocution about why we're actuality today. The actor afore me is an adolescent woman, Arthur years old. Her name is Madison Elizabeth Thornton, built in March, Stirth, Artsenling E. Currently residing at Echen Babai Sisters T Blackstone Boulevard in the East Ancillary of Providence. She's the babe of Robert Thornton, the CEO of Thornton Industries, one of the bigger absolute acreage development companies in Rhode Island with the appraisal of over $1 million. But what affairs added than her name or her father's position is what she did. And let me acquaint you what she did, because this isn't aloof about breaking the law. This is about article abundant added than that. 3 months ago, on August 3 of Arsenling Arderseith, at about Sensor in the afternoon, this adolescent woman was active her vehicle, a Arsenling Arderseith Range Rover Sport, white in color, Rhode Island authorization plate, TH Sessing by Bastrar, annual over Ebad Arsers, linged, and she was active, if foolishly through the Elmwood adjacency, actuality in Providence. Not aloof speeding, apperception you. We're talking about activity, tirasafar per hour in a arse mile per hour zone. Tisserson Cranston Archery amid Haskins Avenue and Broad Street, a residential breadth area accouchement play, breadth families airing their dogs, breadth aged bodies cantankerous the artery to get their mail. But it gets worse, abundant worse, because aback she was pulled over by Administrator Daniel Martinez, Brand Cardinal, Sambite Caesar T, Sherbad Year Adept of the Providence Brand Department at the circle of Cranston Artery and Haskins Avenue. She didn't appearance remorse. She didn't appearance concern. She didn't alike appearance basal animal decency. Is she basal animally sus? According to the brand abode in advanced of me, case cardinal, PR, Urser Z, Ling, Arsen, Seabite, Ling, Bad, One, Season, Wubite, Basharar. And on annual this verbatim, a back administrator Martinez approached her agent at Cis Centris TPM and asked her if she knew why she was actuality pulled over. Her exact words were, and I quote, "Do you apperceive who my ancestor is? He owns bisected the city. I can accept your brand by tomorrow morning." Now, I got to be honest with you. Aback I apprehend that. I had to put these affidavit bottomward in booty a moment, because those words, those arrogant, dismissive, awless words, they acquaint me aggregate I allegation to a perceive about what we're ambidextrous with here. This isn't aloof about speeding. This is about accession, who believes that money, that privilege, that their ancestor's name puts them aloft the law, aloft consequences, aloft basal animal decency. But let me abide, because the adventure doesn't end there. Administrator Martinez, actuality the able that he is, remained calm. He explained to her the austere attributes of her violation. He explained that she was endangering lives. And do you apperceive what she did? She laughed. She actually laughed in his face. Afresh, she took out her iPhone and started recording him. Adage, she was activity to accomplish him acclaimed for all the amiss reasons. Now, Administrator Martinez could accept escalated that situation. He could accept let his affections get the bigger of him, but he didn't. He remained professional. He issued her 3 citations at sisterjoltp.mem. Commendation numbers, Artices to bot, bat by Sister Chi, Artices to bot, bat by Sister Pot, and Artices to bot by Sister Jill for adventuresome driving, boundless speeding, and creating an accessible hazard. And he accurate aggregate properly. That's what acceptable brand assignment looks like. But here's breadth this case takes an alike added advancing turn. Afterwards, she receives her citations. She acquaint on her Instagram annual username, Madison Thornton, which has over Sister T Ling followers. And these posts except been submitted as affirmation affectation C through affectation G. She acquaint videos by the Administrator Martinez. She fabricated fun of him. She alleged him names including hire a cop and power tripping nobody. She acclimated her Belvedere to try to abase a accessible assistant who was artlessly accomplishing his job. These posts were fabricated on August Sirworth at lorsrp.m and August Sirluth at sirwura.m. One video abandoned accustomed over starling angle Arl Arsis hours. And then, and this is what actually troubles me, 3 canicule afterwards, on August, Sherbath, Arsenling Artisith, at Arso in the afternoon, she was bent on a Ring doorbell camera acceptance to Mr. and Mrs. Richard Coleman at Arbeck Sisters T. Haskins Avenue in the aforementioned Elmwood neighborhood, active foolishly again. Aforementioned white Range Rover, authorization plate TH Sisenwubat Bashar, the video timestamp shows R. Stur Wur P.M. Aforementioned behavior, aforementioned apathy for animal life, aforementioned arrogance, as if that citation, as if that warning, as if the law itself meant annihilation to her. You see, I've been accomplishing this job for Sansharar years. Abak Ichenju by Jilsarar, I've sat in this armchair in the Providence Municipal Court, and I've apparent teenagers accomplish brainless mistakes. I've apparent adolescent bodies who fabricated bad choices but showed surpard carrot remorse. I've apparent bodies who came from difficult affairs who fabricated errors in judgment, and you apperceive what? In abounding of those cases, I've apparent mercy, I've accustomed added chances, I've bargained sentences, I've offered association annual instead of Bastille time because I accept in redemption, I accept bodies can change. I accept in the ability of compassion. But I additionally accept in accountability, I accept that accomplishments accept consequences. And I accept that a back accession shows the arrangement of behavior, that Dite demonstrates a complete and absolute apathy for the assurance of others, for the law, and for basal animal respect, able-bodied afresh, this cloister has an obligation to assure the community, an obligation to accelerate a bulletin that no one, and I beggarly know, one is aloft the law. Now, let me allocution about article abroad that's been brought to my attention. The defendant's father, Robert Thornton, CEO of Thornton Industries, a aggregation that owns Sir T bartering backdrop in Burgle, Providence, sure are residential developments beyond Rhode Island and employs over Urbex Sanchez people. He's been aggravating to use his access to accomplish this case go away. Amid August, erst in September, woof, I alone accustomed 7 buzz calls to my chambers. I've accustomed 4 accounting letters. I've had 3 altered bodies appear to my office, including Burgle Administrator James Patterson from Ward 3, Advocate Michael Breslin from the abutting of Brelin and Associates on Westminster Street, and alike Samuel Rodriguez, Admiral of the Providence Chamber of Commerce, all suggesting that maybe we should assignment article out, that maybe his babe has abstrused her lesson, that maybe abundant donation to the Providence Youth Foundation or the Brand Benevolent Association Asian. They mentioned amounts amid Urzasant Chittister War, lingability be appropriate. Let me be bright about something. I don't affliction how abundant money accession has. I don't affliction how abounding barrio they own or how abounding bodies they employ. I don't affliction if they're accommodating to accord Worshers, Linner Wubide. Ling, money does not buy amends in this courtroom. Access does not buy a canyon on consequences, and no bulk of donations or deals or backroom arrange will change what happens actuality today, November Arsus Teeth, Arsenling Arsiat, Shu in the morning. Because here's what I anticipate about a back eye attending at this case. I anticipate about the families in that Elmwood neighborhood. I anticipate about the parents who heard a car roaring bottomward Cranston Artery at Tissers, miles per hour, and acquainted their affections stop apprehensive if their adolescent was arena outside. I anticipate about Chittisharar-year-old Miss S. Dorothy Henderson and her bedmate Frank Cheeser-Suss, both retired agents from Achievement High School, who accomplished for Sanjawur and Sanjabat years respectively, who were bridged the artery to appointment their acquaintance Margaret Sullivan at Urbeck Bosher Jill Cranston Artery on August, Sirworth at C, Samjasampidam M, and had to jump aback, assimilate the barrier because Madison Thornton couldn't be agitated apathetic down. I'd anticipate about all the adolescent bodies out there who are watching cases like this, who are seeing whether the amends arrangement works the aforementioned for anybody, or whether it's altered if you accept money, whether it's altered if your ancestor makes buzz calls, whether it's altered if you can allow big-ticket attorneys and try to alarm brand officers. And I'll acquaint you article abroad. I anticipate about what could accept happen. We're actual fortunate, and I beggarly actual fortunate, that no one was aching in these incidents. But what if there had been? What if Chit-year-old Emma Rodriguez had been arena in a advanced backyard at Urbach Cicerie Cranston Street? What if Ushiki-year-old Mr. Thomas Chen, a postal artisan for our years, had been accepting his mail at Arshwa that afternoon? What if Mrs. Henderson had been demography, her circadian sun airing, that she's been accomplishing for the accomplished years? I accept grandchildren, 7 admirable grandchildren, ages alignment from Lot to Sherlope. My youngest granddaughter, Sophia Marie Caprio, is 6 years old, built in June, Bath, Arsene Sherbad, and a back I anticipate about her arena in a neighborhood, a back I anticipate about her actuality, al fresco, adequate, a brilliant day, and a back I anticipate about accession. Like Madison Thornton active, Tivers meters hour through that adjacency with complete apathy for her safety. It makes my claret run cold. It makes me apprehend that we're not aloof talking about cartage violations here. We're talking about abeyant tragedy. We're talking about lives that could have been lost. Now, let me apprehend to you what the prosecutor has recommended. Assistant District Advocate Sarah Chen, who has been with the Providence District Attorney's appointment for 9 years, and has handled over Sambite RCT cartage cases with a confidence bulk of Byfiner Bastard Joel, is allurement for a abundant accomplished of $Sir lien, a 2-year authorization suspension, ebite Worcester's hours of binding association service, and a Bastille Book of Terse Canicule, to drive home the calmness of these offenses. The Aegis Attorney, Advocate Jennifer Morrison from Morrison Acknowledged Group on North Main Street, and she's an acceptable attorney. She's been practicing Bent Aegis law for several years, accelerating from Roger Williams Law Academy in Arsene Jill. She's done her job well, is allurement for leniency. She's pointing out that Madison Thornton has no above-mentioned bent record. She's suggesting that a accomplished of Sun Hundred Ling and Basher's hours of association annual would be sufficient. She's additionally mentioned that her applicant is young, that she accelerating from Moses Brown Academy in Arsene Ling Iser Jill in Boston University in Arsene Ling Arsersen with a bulk in business and communications, and that a acrid book could blow her approaching career prospects. I've listened to both arguments. I've advised all the evidence. I've apprehended the brand reports. I've looked at the amusing media posts, accurately the Instagram post from August Sirworth at Lo, Arshar PM in August, Sir Luke that Sirworth A.M. Brett Madison Thornton acquaint videos with captions, including got pulled over by the best affecting cop ever. And seriously, this guy thinks he can blend with me. I've watched the Ring doorbell footage from August Sherbath at Arsterwell PM, assuming her agent traveling at boundless speeds. I've advised the defendant's age, Arsersen years old. I've advised her background. I've advised aggregate that should be advised in a case like this. But I accumulate advancing back to article fundamental. An article that I anticipate gets absent sometimes in our acknowledged system. We accept laws for a reason. We accept acceleration banned for a reason. We accept after effects for breaking those laws for a reason. And the acumen is simple: to assure people to accumulate our community safe, to ensure that anybody can alive afterwards abhorrence of someone's adventuresome behavior, antibacterial their lives. You apperceive what troubles me best about this case. It's not alike the speeding, as austere as that is. It's not alike the adventuresome endangerment. It's the attitude. It's the arrogance. It's the complete abridgment of compassionate that her accomplishments affect added people, absolute bodies with absolute families and absolute lives. A back I attending at the affirmation in this case, a back I apprehend that brand abode from August, Sturworth, a back I see those amusing media posts from her Instagram account, Fridam Count. A back I watch that Ring doorbell footage from August Sir Barth. I see accession, who has been taught, maybe not explicitly, but through experience, that after effects don't administer to them, that they can do what they want, that their ancestors' name or their father's money will consistently bond them. Well, not today. Not in this courtroom. Not on my watch. I appetite to explain article about sentencing. A back a adjudicator sentences someone. We're not aggravating to be cruel. We're not aggravating to abort lives. We're aggravating to do several things at once. First, we're aggravating to corruption the wrongdoing. Yes, corruption is allotment of justice. Second, we're aggravating to avert that actuality from accomplishing it again. Third, we're aggravating to accelerate a bulletin to others who ability be watching that this behavior won't be tolerated. And fourth, and this is important, we're aggravating to assure the community. In best cases, I can antithesis these goals with a book that's abutting but merciful, a book that punishes but additionally offers a aisle to redemption. But in this case, we accept assorted violations on August Struworth and August Sherbath. We accept a complete abridgment of remorse. We accept attempted browbeating of Administrator Daniel Martinez. We accept accessible apology of law administration through amusing media posts beheld by over-startling people. And best adverse of all, we accept a echo breach aloof 3 canicule afterwards the Aboriginal incident. This tells me that the actor either doesn't accept the calmness of what she's done, or she understands it altogether able-bodied and artlessly doesn't care. Either way, it tells me that annihilation beneath an austere after effect would be abortion of this court's assignment to assure the public. Now, I appetite to abode article directly. There are bodies who will watch what happens actuality today, and they will say, Judge Caprio is actuality too harsh. He's accepted for actuality compassionate. He's accepted for giving bodies breaks. Why is he actuality so boxy in this case? And my acknowledgement is simple. Benevolence afterwards, accountability isn't benevolence at all. It's enabling. Aback I accord accession a break, aback I abate a sentence, aback I appearance mercy. It's because I see Sherbat carrot remorse. It's because I see accession who understands what they did amiss and wants to accomplish it right. It's because I see accession who fabricated a mistake but isn't authentic by that mistake. But I don't see any of that here. What I see is accession who thinks she's untouchable. What I see is accession who has apparent through her accomplishments on August Struworth and August Sherpath, and through her words to Administrator Martinez and in her amusing media column that she has abstruse annihilation from this acquaintance, except maybe that she needs bigger attorneys abutting time. And let me acquaint you article else. The Aegis attorney, Advocate Morrison, mentioned that the actor has no above-mentioned bent record. That's true. Madison Thornton has never been arrested before, never been bedeviled of any crime. And normally, that would counterbalance heavily in favor of leniency. But you apperceive what? Best Arthur-year-olds don't accept bent records. That's not special. That's the bald minimum of actuality a law-abiding citizen. We don't accord out awards for not breaking the law up until now. I additionally appetite to abode the altercation that she's young, that she's alone, Arthur years old, built in Arts and Lingy that she's still learning, that we should accord her a adventitious to grow. And look, I accept that argument. I actually do. Adolescent bodies accomplish mistakes. Their accuracy are still developing. They don't consistently anticipate about after effects the way adults do. I get all of that. But here's the thing. At Ursan years old, you're old abundant to vote. You've been able to vote aback you were, Sherbat. You're old abundant to serve in the military. You're old abundant to assurance contracts. You're old abundant to get married. And you're actually old abundant to have received that active Tissers meters hour in a Ursa war breath is dangerous. You're old abundant to apperceive that aggressive a brand administrator is wrong. You're old abundant to apperceive that biting accession on amusing media with Sister T link followers watching is cruel. And you're actually old abundant to perceive that aback you get bent accomplishing article amiss on August Struworth. You don't befold bottomward and do it afresh 3 canonical afterwards on August Sherbath. This isn't about an adolescent actuality, authoritative, and innocent mistake. This is about accession who has been aloft to accept that rules don't administer to them. And unless this cloister intervenes, unless we accelerate a bright and apparent bulletin adapted now, I abhorrence what ability appear a budding time, because there will be a budding time. Bodies with this attitude, with this akin of arrogance, they don't stop until article armament them to stop. I've been cerebration a lot about what amends looks like in this case, and I've appeared to a conclusion. Amends isn't aloof about backbreaking Madison Thornton. It's about attention approaching victims. It's about sending a bulletin to every added, advantaged adolescent actuality out there who thinks their ancestor's name puts them aloft the law. It's about vindicating Administrator Daniel Martinez, brand cardinal, Sambite Sisters T, who was aloof accomplishing his job on August Sturworth at sea, Sanjananapianim, and was subjected to corruption and abasement for it. And it's about abating acceptance in our system. Acceptance that maybe he's been annoyed by two abounding cases where affluent defendants erring abroad with a bang on the wrist. So here's what I've decided, and I appetite you to accept that I've accustomed this a lot of thought. Advised every factor. I've advised every altercation from both Assistant District Advocate Sarah Chen and Advocate Jennifer Morrison, and I've prayed on it because decisions like this aren't easy, alike aback they're necessary. On the allegation of adventuresome active from August Servuv, Ars Henling Arsu, Commendation Cardinal Arsusuth to Babai Sister T. I'm sentencing you to the best amends accustomed beneath Rhode Island accepted law. Shri Fujo Fui, that's Chorges Canicule in the developed correctional institutions. The accompaniment Bastille on Howard Avenue actuality in Cranston. On the allegation of attempting to alarm a law administration administrator beneath Rhode Island. Accepted law, Shri Fu Censure Ti Fu Chi, I'm abacus accession, lictures canicule to be served consecutively, not accordingly on the added allegation of adventuresome active from the added adventure on August Serbath Artindling Arter Seath, as accurate by the Ring doorbell camera at Arbeck Sisters T. Haskins Avenue. That's accession. Chorger's days additionally consecutive. That's an absolute of Arbeck Sisters days, 8 months. You will serve this time at the women's analysis of the developed correctional institutions. And I'm acclamation that there be no aboriginal absolution beneath the acceptable behavior provisions, no assignment absolution program, and no adapted privileges or accommodations. You'll serve your time. Like anybody abroad who sits in that facility, your advertisement date will be on December 2nd, Ars Henling Arter C at Joel Ling A.M. In addition, I'm already accomplished of serve aller, willing to be paid in abounding all lictures canicule of today's date by January Arsaluk, Arts Henling Arsawar. And before anyone says that's too abundant or too little, let me explain. That money will be disconnected appropriately into 3 parts. Wu Dollarling will go to the Rhode Island Victims of Adventuresome Active Fund. Wu Dollarsling will go to the Province Accessible Schools Safe Streets Education Program. And Wolf Dollarsling will go to abutment the Providence Brand Departments Association Beat and Training Programs. I'm additionally suspending your driver's license, Rhode Island Authorization Cardinal T, Wubeb Basher Seuss, 1 Titin Arbeck Sanser Jolt, for 3 years. Not 1 year, not 2 years, 3 abounding years. Alpha today, November, Arsus Teeth, Arsenling Arsusuth, and Catastrophe, November, Ursus Teeth, Arsenling Arsuchi. And aback those 3 years are up. You will be adapted to balance both the accounting assay and the DOT applied alley analysis administered by the Rhode Island Analysis of Motor Vehicles. You will be adapted to complete an absolute disciplinary and assurance course, minimum Sanser's hours of instruction, and you will be adapted to accomplish Arbeck hours of association service, accurately alive with mothers adjoined drunk active Rhode Island affiliate, or with families of cartage blow victims at Rhode Island Hospital's Agony Center. So you can see immediate the absolute after effects of adventuresome driving. Furthermore, I'm acclamation that you be banned from operating any motor vehicle, alike with accession else's permission, during the absolute aeon of your authorization abeyance from November Arsis Teeth, Ars Henling Arsis through November Arsis Teeth, Ars Henling Arshati. If you're bent active during this time, if Administrator Martinez or any added administrator pulls you over, you will face added bent accused beneath Rhode Island accepted law, Censor E Fusher E Fuba, and you will face a minimum of an added 1 year of Bastille time. No exceptions. Now, I can see the shock on faces in this courtroom. Some of you apparently anticipate I'm actuality too harsh. Some of you apparently anticipate I'm not actuality acrid enough. But let me acquaint you why I've fabricated this accommodation. Today, actuality and attorney, Sene of the Providence Municipal Court. Madison Thornton needs to accept that her accomplishments accept consequences, absolute consequences. Not after effects that her father, Robert Thornton's C-by Actor Company, can accomplish go away. Not after effects that her attorneys from Morrison Acknowledged Group can accommodate into nothing. Absolute actual after effects that will affect her life. 8 months in the women's analysis at the ACI is a continued time. It's continued abundant to think. It's continued abundant to accept what you've done. It's continued abundant to hopefully appear as a afflicted person. but it's not so continued that it destroys someone's life. She'll be out by August of Arsendling Arsawar. She'll still be 6 years old. She'll still accept her accomplished activity advanced of her. She can still go to school. She can still body a career. She can still become an advantageous affiliate of society. But she bear to apprentice this lesson, and she bear to apprentice it now afore her errors and carelessness dead someone. Because accomplished no mistake, that's breadth this was heading. It was alone a bulk of time afore her behavior resulted in tragedy. And I would rather accept her sit in the women's analysis for 8 months actuality affronted at me than accept her absorb the blow of her activity active with the actuality that she dead 7-year-old Emma Rodriguez or Chishara-year-old Dorothy Henderson because she anticipation she was too important to chase the rules. The 3-year authorization abeyance from November Arsendling Archer through November Arsendling Archer is advised to be elusive in our society. Abnormally in Rhode Island breadth accessible bus line is limited. Active is an advantage we generally booty for granted, but it's not a right. It's an advantage that comes with responsibility. And a back accession abuses that advantage as egregiously as Madison Thornton has, the allegation to lose it for a cogent aeon of time. As for the Sturv War, Linga accomplished due January Arshaluk Arsendling Arsa War, and the Urbeck Hours of Association Service, those are advised to ensure that article absolute comes from this abrogating situation. That money will advise bodies who accept been afflicted by adventuresome driving. That association annual will, I hope. Accessible her eyes to the absolute animal bulk of behavior like chastening a back. She works with agony victims at Rhode Island Hospital or with mad families. Now, I apperceive what some bodies are activity to say. Their activity to say that I'm authoritative and archetype of her because of who her ancestor is. Because Robert Thornton is the CEO of Thornton Industries, and you apperceive what? They're partially right. I am authoritative an example, but not because of who her ancestor is. I'm authoritative and archetype because of who she chose to be, because of the errors she displayed on August or worth at cc-sanchez-tp.m, because of the antipathy she showed for Administrator Daniel Martinez, because of the crisis she errs to innocent bodies on Cranston Artery. And Haskins Avenue because of those Instagram posts to her, Sesher T, Ling followers. If this had been a Aboriginal offense, if she had apparent anguish on August or Swarth, if she'd apologized to Administrator Martinez, if she hadn't acquaint those videos biting him on August Sturworth at Lou, Neezer Neepit M, and August Sirloth at Sir Sirwar.m. If she hadn't gone out and done it afresh on August Sirbots at Arstool Pete M. Well, afresh, we'd be accepting an actual altered chat adapted now. I apparently would accept a custom her accomplished of maybe Sun Ling dollars, some association annual of Wurzor Lichter's hours, maybe a 6-month authorization suspension, and beatific her on her way with a ascetic warning. But that's not what happened. What happened was the affectation of airs and alms that bluntly disgusts me. And I've been accomplishing this job aback, each and Jolbite Jol Shirar, San Shirar years, and I've been accomplishing this too, continued to pretend that a bang on the wrist is activity to change that attitude. Sometimes bodies allegation to face absolute after effects to accept that their accomplishments matter. I appetite to say article to the parents who are watching this case, whether your actuality in Providence or watching this on YouTube afterwards or annual about in the Providence Journal tomorrow, to the fathers and mothers out there who accept children, whether they're adolescent or grown, please advise your accouchement that anybody deserves respect, that brand admiral like Administrator Martinez are bodies accomplishing a difficult job, that laws abide to assure us all, that money and cachet don't accomplish you bigger than anyone else, that accomplishments because if you don't advise your accouchement these lessons, if you let them abound up cerebration, they're aloft it all. Cerebration that your money or access will consistently assure them, well, afresh you're declining them. You're ambience them up for an actual adamantine fall. And a back that abatement comes, a back they're continuing in a attorneys like this one. Attorneys, sene at Ursula Dr. Artery in Providence, adversity adjudicator like me on a day like today, November Urser's teeth, Arsendling Arsus, its activity to be too backward to disengage all those years of bad lessons. I don't apperceive what affectionate of parenting led to the behavior. I've a parent in this case from Madison Elizabeth Thornton. I'm not actuality to adjudicator Robert and Patricia Thornton's parenting, but I will say this. If my adolescent had behaved the way this actor behaved on August Sir with an August Serbat Sapath, if they had announced to Administrator Martinez the way she did, if they had acquaint those Instagram videos, I would be ashamed. I would be heartbroken, and I would actually abutment any after effect that ability advice them become a bigger person. Now, before I close, I appetite to say something. Madison Thornton, you're 10 years old, built in March. Stirth Artinlingi, you're young. You accept your accomplished activity advanced of you. This doesn't accept to ascertain you. 8 months from now, about August of Arsenling Arsa War, you can airing out of the women's analysis of the ACI, and you can accomplish a choice. You can accept to be bitter. You can accept to be angry. You can accept to accusation me or the arrangement or Administrator Martinez or anyone else. Or you can accept to apprentice from this. You can accept that you were amiss on Augusterworth and Auguster Bath. You can accept to become a bigger person. You can accept to use this acquaintance at the developed correctional institutions to advance empathy, humility, and annual for others. You can accept to absorb the blow of your activity authoritative abiding that no one abroad anytime has to go through what could accept happen because of your carelessness on Cranston Street. Achievement, you accomplish the adapted choice. I actually do, because I don't appetite to see you back in this attorneys in Wu years in Arsenling Arser Joe or sure years in Arsenling Censor Sue adverse alike added austere charges. I don't appetite to apprehend in the Providence Journal any time that you assuredly did account. That accident that you assuredly did aching someone, I appetite to accept that you can change, that you will change, but that change has to alpha with accountability. It has to alpha with accepting that what you did on August or Worth at C censors.p.m and August Sherbath at r.sherwillp.m was wrong. It has to alpha with compassionate that this sentence, 8 months in the ACI, 3 years afterwards a license, Sturwarling Urbeck hours of association service, isn't about me actuality beggarly or acrid or unfair. It's about justice. It's about attention the Association of Providence, Rhode Island. And yes, it's about giving you a wake-up alarm that ability aloof save your activity or accession else's. Now, you accept the adapted to address this book to the Rhode Island Superior Cloister Oral Sanishire Canicule of today, November Arseteth Arseling Arser C. Advocate Jennifer Morrison will explain that action to you, but I appetite you to apperceive that I've been actual accurate in crafting this book to be oral the bound of Valley Island accepted law and adapted to the offenses accurate in dot. Case Cardinal PR RE Ling Arbike Siserba when Sisen Wubike Basharar. I'm assured that it will bear any appeal. I additionally appetite to say article to Administrator Daniel Martinez, Brand Cardinal, sent by Cesar T., who I see is actuality in the attorneys today. Administrator Martinez, acknowledge you for your annual to the Providence Brand Department for Sabat Jerbat years. Acknowledge you for your professionalism and administration of difficult bearings on August Sturworth at C. Century P.M. on Cranston Street. Acknowledge you for not absolution Madison Thornton's behavior abet you into accomplishing annihilation that would accept compromised your integrity. You are absolutely the affectionate of brand administrator we allegation in this community. And I appetite you to apperceive that this court, the Providence Municipal Court, appreciates you. To anybody abroad in this courtroom, whether you're from Providence, from Rhode Island, or from about abroad watching this case, I achievement this serves as a reminder. The law applies to everyone. Amends is dark to wealth, to status, to ancestors' connections. In this attorney's at Ursivol Doran Street, we amusement anybody with respect, but we additionally authority anybody accountable. If you're adolescent actuality watching this, whether you're Ursersan like Madison or adolescent or older, apprentice from it, accept that your accomplishments matter, that the choices you accomplish accept consequences, that no bulk of money or advantage will assure you if you endanger others. If you're a parent, use this as a teaching moment. Allocution to your accouchement about responsibility, about respect, about the affectionate of actuality, the appetite, to be in this world. And if your accession who's been accustomed to advantages in life, wealth, opportunity, privilege, whether you're the adolescent of a CEO like Robert Thornton or anyone else, bethink that those advantages appear with responsibilities. They're not a authorization to amusement others poorly. They're not a absorber adjoin consequences. If anything, they should accomplish you added acquainted of your obligations to your association and to society. This cloister is adjourned. The defendant, Madison Elizabeth Thorne, will be adjourned into a aegis anon to activate, confined her book at the Developed Correctional Institution's Women's Division. Advertisement date December 2nd, Artiling Arcercia, Jolie AM. The accomplished of Servolingus, due by January Arsaluf, Arsenling Arcewar. The authorization abeyance is able anon and runs through November Arsetith. Niselea Nijunana, bailiff, amuse proceed.